Welcome back, family. Lancescurv here, the Lancescurv podcast. I wanted to talk about spiritual people. When you deeply hurt a spiritual person. See, when I say spiritual person, I'm talking about a person who has ascended on a higher level of awareness and spirituality. And they don't do the same things that other people do when people attack them. I don't mean just physically attack them. Let's hope not. But you know, when they let you down, they lie, they gossip, they cheat you, you know, they owe you something, but the arrogance is just off the chain. They feel entitled to step all over you, and it's supposed to be okay. And when they realize they did this, or maybe they don't want to realize it, but when the world around them realizes this, they kind of expect some type of retaliation, but a spiritual person doesn't do that. See, when you hurt a spiritual person, it's not always loud. It doesn't always look like revenge or a dramatic scene, right? People are braced and waiting for something to happen, and it never does. But here's why. A spiritual person won't always shout or chase you down. We often do the quiet thing. We step back. We unplug. We make you nothing in our lives. That's even worse. It doesn't mean we hate you. It means we have nothing left to spend on you. No time, no energy, no trust. This is why people who wound a spiritual soul should understand the cost. You don't get drama from us. You get absence. Spiritual people protect their inner life. We value peace more than being right. We've learned that noisy anger and public fights only drain the spirit. So when someone crosses a line, lying, betraying, or treating us like we don't matter, the response is not a scream. The response is silence. The cut is a removal. We stop answering calls. We stop making space for you. The quiet is heavy. It's a final boundary that's harder to break than any argument. Often the choice to disconnect comes after repeated hurt. One bad thing can be forgiven, but when the pattern shows up, excuses, broken promises, disrespect, spiritual people stop pouring while others keep taking. It's not a game. It's a survival tool. We choose to protect our energy because our faith, our sanity, and our well-being depend on it. We won't trade our peace for drama or for someone else's selfish needs. This withdrawal feels strange to some people. They expect retaliation or a fight. But spiritual people are not always about getting even. We're about keeping our soul clean. If you hurt us, you lose access. There's no lecture tour about it. You simply become insignificant to our daily life. You become something we don't carry anymore. Finally, understand that this is not being weak. Walking away from a source of pain is strength. It takes discipline to refuse to be dragged into bitterness. So when we disconnect, it's an act of power, not of defeat. It says, I will not let your actions determine my inner weather. First, spiritual people treat energy like currency. Every word, every hour, every care you give costs us something. When someone wastes that currency with lies, disrespect, or cruelty, we stop spending. We learn the value of our attention. Your place in our life is a privilege, not an entitlement. Second, many spiritual folks have learned through pain. We've been burned before. We have seen good people drained by those who only want favors and drama. That history teaches us to guard the heart. So when a person shows themselves to be hurtful, the guard comes up. It's not about being petty. It's about surviving and staying whole. Third, the detachment is a form of love for self. We may still love you in a sense, pity, sorrow, or even prayer, but we will not let that love cost our peace. Sometimes love means cutting ties with people who harm you. This paradox confuses outsiders. You love, but you leave. For the spiritual person, leaving is the loving choice. Fourth, spiritual people value integrity. If someone breaks trust or lies, that person has shown their moral character. We then choose moral consistency in our own lives by removing the inconsistent person. We won't pretend everything is fine when it isn't. Our standards stay steady even when others do not. Fifth, disconnecting prevents cycles. When we stop engaging with harmful people, we refuse to be pulled back into patterns. The same arguments, the same manipulations, the same emotional drains. Silence ends the loop. Not everyone understands this, but it's how we break toxic cycles. When a spiritual person disconnects, the hurt can be deep. It's not just lost time or arguments. It feels like being erased. For many, this brings sadness, confusion, and a sense of finality. The person who is cut off may not see it coming. One day the phone rings, the next day it does not. That silence carries weight. This hurt also carries clarity. Once someone becomes nothing, the wounded person must face consequences. They might lose social standing, favors, or community connections. Those losses can be a wake-up call. Some use the pain to change. Others double down and blame. The outcome depends on the person who caused the harm. There is also a spiritual cost for the hurtful person. Being cut off from those who hold prayer, counsel, or steady faith means losing a safe mirror. Spiritual friends often provide honesty and correction wrapped in care. Remove that net, and the person who hurt someone loses a source of real guidance. They may still have people who enable them, but they lose the depth that points them back toward better choices. For the spiritual person, the effects are mixed too. Walking away can be freeing, but also lonely. We make peace with solitude because it protects us, but solitude can sting. We sometimes grieve the relationship we wanted it to be. We miss what was good, even if the bad outweighed it, but the trade-off is our inner balance returned. Lastly, the ripple runs through community. Others watch and learn. When spiritual people withdraw, the people who respect them take note. That can change friend groups, business ties, and neighborhood dynamics. The person who caused harm may find their world smaller and more honest as a result. Sometimes disconnecting is simple. Fewer text messages, fewer invites, no more phone calls. Other times, it's complete. Blocking, removing from social circles, changing routines so the person isn't around. The spiritual person does not advertise a scoreboard. The withdrawal is practical and quiet. It's not meant to hurt. It's meant to stop harm. In professional settings, the spiritual decision to disengage can mean losing collaboration or business. A spiritual leader who is repeatedly disrespected will protect their work by removing the disrespectful party. In families, this can look like distance at gatherings, short answers, or refusing to play along with drama. At first, it may lead to estrangement. At best, it sends a clear message without public spectacle. You will not always see a public reason. Often, we do not explain. We expect people to notice patterns. If someone keeps hurting people, they will eventually find themselves with fewer doors open. That is not punishment so much as natural consequence. People who value peace simply stop keeping seats for those who bring storms. Also, spiritual people may respond by praying, fasting, or seeking counsel rather than spreading gossip. The reaction is inward and corrective. The aim is restoration, sometimes of the relationship, sometimes of their own peace, but always without descending into ugly behavior. Not everyone will detach. Not everyone can. Spiritual people are a specific kind of person who chooses boundaries over battles. That means when we do remove someone from our lives, the decision carries intention and permanence. If you hurt us, we are not merely upset for a day, we are protecting something sacred. Understand that we nothing you is not cruelty. It is a refusal to be a source of ongoing nourishment for someone who consistently harms. It is not about making you pay. It's about making sure our harvest is tended by those who help it grow. We protect what feeds our soul. Also understand that forgiveness may still exist. Forgiveness and reconnecting are possible, but only when trust is rebuilt and when the person who caused the harm shows real change. Empty apologies mean nothing. Real change looks like consistent action, humility, and re-earned respect. Until then, silence remains our boundary. Finally, respect the line. If you find you've been made nothing, don't try to force your way back with drama or public pleas. That usually confirms why you were removed in the first place. Instead, use the absence to check yourself. If you love the person you hurt, show it by changing quietly and consistently. If you don't change, the silence will stay. When a spiritual person disconnects, it is a serious, measured move. It is not an act of cowardice, nor of petty malice. It is protection. It is an act of self-preservation rooted in deep respect for the quiet life. We will not trade our peace for noise. The choice is about values. Spiritual people value honesty, respect, and inner calm. When those values are violated, the response is to withdraw. This withdrawal is not only for our sake, but for the health of the communities we touch. Toxic behavior cannot be allowed to spread unchecked. Understand, too, that being made nothing is a powerful message. It says loudly, "You have shown me who you are, and I will not engage with that." The absence is a boundary that teaches accountability. When doors close, people must face the truth of their actions. Yet, there is room for redemption. If the one who caused pain chooses change, the spiritual person may reopen the door, carefully and slowly. That reopening is not guaranteed. It is possible when real transformation takes place. Until that transformation proves itself, the silence stands. In the end, remember this: spiritual people do not waste energy on public feuds. We save it for prayer, for healing, and for the people who show up with honesty. If you hurt us, you may not get fireworks in return. You may simply get a quiet life without you in it. That quiet is sometimes the most powerful response there is. We are protective of our spirit, our time, and our inner weather. When someone is cut off, it is because that person chose behaviors inconsistent with loyalty and respect. You becoming nothing is not an insult. It is a conservation of life. If you find yourself on the outside, use it, reflect, change, repair quietly and consistently. Words without action mean little. Actions rebuild trust. If you do that, you may be welcomed back someday. If not, the silence will remain, and the silence will speak louder than any shout. To those who value spiritual living, keep your standards, walk away when needed, protect your peace, The world needs people who refuse to trade their soul for anyone's drama. And to those who would hurt us, know this: we don't hate you. We simply make room for what matters. We nothing you. Don't mistake silence for weakness. It is the strongest thing we have.